This is One on One. Monique King-Viehland is the president of Campus Gateway Development, Inc., connected with NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology. Good to see you, Monique.
Thank you. Good to see you as well.
This is a fascinating initiative. Put this in context for us. The Campus Gateway Development Project, 10 years, $1.3 billion.
Yes.
Where is it? And because we're seeing in a lot of different states, but even for folks in New Jersey, NJIT is a very important academic institution in Newark.
Yes.
And this project is an economic development project. Where?
It's in the University Heights section of Newark. And it's actually one of the sections where there are a lot of different colleges and universities. So we have Rutgers, we have NJIT, we have Essex County, we have UMD&J. And what we're trying to do is an initiative that builds on the momentum and the assets of that 40,000 plus people coming into the city every day.
Now someone might say, okay, why would the New Jersey Institute of Technology, why would an academic institution of higher learning get involved in business, economic development? Why is that your business?
You know, it's our business because we're a neighbor. We live in that community. We're in that community. We've been there since 1881 and we'll continue to be there. You know, anchor institutions like NJIT aren't going anywhere. So our focus and our future and Newark's future is all linked together. And so it's important for us to make sure that we're doing as much as we can and taking a proactive role to continue to see the city redevelop.
Monique, let's break it down a little bit. We talked to your president, Dr. Bloom, who's been advocating this project, and his predecessor, Bob Altkirk, did the same thing. So now let's put it in perspective. 4 phases, right? We got 4 phases.
Correct.
Jackie Cook, our producer, we got some pictures of this, Jackie? We're going to, as we show some pictures of phase 1, under construction right now. This is the Warren Street Village, correct?
Yes.
Talk it through.
So this is the Warren Street Village. The view you're seeing is the perspective of a rendering from Raymond Boulevard. Warren Street Village is an $80 million project. It's on approximately 3 acres and it's 214,000 square feet. The building in the far back is the Dorman Residential Honors College building.
The Residential Honors College, 6 stories.
6-story building, 4 floors of residential living, 1 story of office, and the bottom has dining facilities, fitness center, and a convenience store.
Why is it so important to have such a facility? By the way, what are we looking at right there?
This is actually the project last week under construction.
For real?
So yes, it's going up pretty fast.
Wow. That's wild.
Yeah.
By the way, very tough to get financing for this, no?
That's correct. Yeah, we tried to pursue the Urban Hub Tax Credit Program at EDA. You know, clearly that program was oversubscribed, and then EDA sort of went into a moratorium.
Economic Development Authority?
Economic Development Authority went into a moratorium. And actually, I was impressed. What our board ended up doing was deciding that this project was too important as the first phase of Gateway and too important to stop. And so we actually went out and did tax-exempt bond financing for the project.
Talk about commitment.
Exactly.
That's a real commitment.
Exactly.
And you know, as we talk about phase 2, which is planned for spring 2014, what's interesting to me is this is huge in terms of, I mean, growing up in that neighborhood, knowing Newark very well, NJIT, very smart students, you know, premier academic institution, but being connected to the neighborhood wasn't always the thing. You know, there was always some, they're not really part of the neighborhood in the way you're talking about right now. That's a big part of this.
That's right. Phase 2, I think, what's most interesting, and it excites me even more than phase 1, because phase 2 is really the first phase where you'll see the boundaries between campus and the community dissipate.
What do you mean?
Phase 2 is all about creating a better space, not just for the students and faculty and staff at NJIT, but also for the residents of the University Heights community. It's going to be a mixed-use development. It's not focused on student housing. It's hopefully going to have a grocery store.
Hold on, let's talk about it. A grocery store. Why,
Yes.
for folks who don't know this section of Newark, why is having a grocery store such a big deal?
You know, well, 2 reasons. One, we know that for a long time Newark has been a food desert. And although we are starting to see some retail come in terms of grocery stores, we still are underserved and could use more grocery stores. The other thing is we did a large-scale surveying process of the community before we started this to look at what they needed, and one thing that came back as a resounding yes was that they needed a grocery store in the community. So we know this isn't just going to serve NJIT people, this is going to serve the larger University Heights community, and I just think that that's tremendous.
The other thing that's so interesting here is retail stores. This is all in phase 2, folks. Retail stores, more housing?
Yes, more housing, non-student housing.
Oh,
so this is
non-student
not
housing.
affiliated housing. We are not building NJIT student housing. We are looking to have the private developer build non-affiliated housing that hopefully will attract some young professionals to the area.
And why is a parking garage so important?
Parking garage is critical. We lost some parking when we did phase 1 for NJIT, and also phase 2 is on a lot that's currently utilized by St. Michael's Medical Center.
Right.
So we're replacing both of those parking and providing parking for the retail.
Now, we were talking about this before we got in the air. You grew up and know Trenton very well.
That's right.
And I actually grew up just a couple blocks away from where you are right now at NJIT. Places like Newark and Trenton, right? But in this case, Newark in particular. Why is it so important that, I mean, this is referred to as University Heights. You know, you got Rutgers Newark there, you have NJIT, you have Essex County College, right? Why is it so important that academic institutions like NJIT take a leadership role here in the community?
I think it's important because we're here and we're going to be here. We're not leaving. We're not going to relocate our corporate headquarters. I mean, Newark is our home, and it's important that we want our home to be the best that it can be. And we understand that the relationship between us and Newark's success is one that's synergistic. So if we want to continue to grow, we want to continue to be successful as a premier technological university, we also need to make sure that Newark continues to grow and be successful as a city.
And the reaction you've gotten so far has been?
It's been very positive. We've gotten very positive reaction from the city, from the community, and from the students and faculty of NJIT.
You know, it's so interesting. Folks this is part of the quote-unquote Central Ward in the city of Newark, which was ravaged by the riots in 1967. Which, you know, for those of us who were little kids at the time, remember, you never forget that. This has the potential to bring folks from the Central Ward who've been there a long time and NJIT closer together, no?
I agree, yes. And I think the process that we undertook is central to that. I mean, we started this back in 2006, and it was a long community development process. So we're doing this with our stakeholders. This isn't a project that's happening to University Heights, it's a project that's happening with the University Heights neighborhood.
18 months, come back and give us a progress report, Monique.
Will do.
Congratulations, keep it up.
Thank you.
To our partners at NJIT, thank you. I'm Steve Adubato, stay with us, we'll be right back right after this.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by Investors Bank, the Russell Berry Foundation, Fedway Associates, Inc., PSE&G, committed to improving New Jersey's economy and strengthening its communities, the law firm of Gibbons P.C., and by St. Peter's University, the Jesuit University of New Jersey. Promotional support provided by the Star Ledger and NJ.com, Everything Jersey, and by NJ Biz, All Business, All New Jersey. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been produced in partnership with St. Joseph's Healthcare System.